I'm Reprops, and today I'm making WALL-E from the Pixar film WALL-E. What I did was cut 6 8-inch by 8-inch squares and then started to label where the recessed area would be, which is where his hands go when he turns into the cube. I bent cardboard at an angle to act as support inside of it as I glued on all of the sides. Make the top square a little large on all sides, and then start to label where all of the panels and small details are going to go, and then cut those out of thin cardboard and glue them on. For the sides, make an L-shaped cutout with a rounded part around the top where the arm would slide. Inside the recessed area, layer some cardboard to help thicken it out. The back, I just made 2 half circles and then glued them onto the square and covered that in a piece of thin cardboard to give it the curved shape. And then I made some pistons out of some rolled up cardboard and did some details with some thin cardboard. Leave a little bit of overhang on all the sides so that when you trim it up it's flush. Then start to glue it on, but layer it so that it's a little bit off center. Glue on all of the panels and then cut out some holes where the arm will go and put a cardboard tube in there which will support the arms. Fill the arms in with some cardboard so that a tube sits flush in there. Make 2 half cylinders, which will be WALL-E's forearm. You can just make that out of a piece of cardboard that you scored on the inside to make the box and then rounded it out with a dowel or something. Make the joints using some tubing and a circle with some holes cut through it to make the joint, and then just do that a couple of times and then put a wooden skewer through each side, and then glue that onto the forearm and fill that in with enough cardboard so that another tube sits flush inside of that. Make a basic shape for a hand and cut that out a couple of times to make a joint, which you will put a wooden skewer through and cover all the sides of that in some thin cardboard. This may be tedious because you have to cut out all of these pieces and then double them so that they will have enough density to not wobble around. And then you want to make the thumb doing the same process, just not as angled on either side, and then attach them all using some wooden skewers through a rectangular piece of cardboard. Make sure all of the joints are really tight because you're relying on purely friction to hold the joints in place. To make the neck, you just use a cardboard dowel and cut a hole out of the square, and then use some rounded pieces of cardboard to give it a joint look. We're not actually going to be making a hinge because it's not necessarily for what I needed to do. For that, in some thin cardboard and add a rectangle on the top which will hold the joint for the head in place, and then cover the entire base in thin cardboard. Basic eye shape, and then cut that out a couple of times and cover it in cardboard, and then cover that in some thin cardboard, cut out the eyes. And then for the actual eye, I just used an old flashlight reflector inside a tube of cardboard. Some cubes to put on the back of the eyes with a hole going through them so that it will act as a hinge so that you can move the eyes individually. Make a rectangle out of cardboard and attach a tube to it so that it will act as the swivel for the eyes. To make the tread gears, I just rolled up some cardboard around some spray paint can lids to make it the width that I needed to be, and then I covered that in some thin cardboard and covered that in some circles to make some details, and then I glued some strips of cardboard to act as the gears on it. I used some cardboard dowels to act as the smaller gears, and then made some small details out of some cardboard with a rounded shape. I made the treads by just gluing on some normal cardboard that I had cut some lines into, and then I glued that all the way around on both pieces to act as the treads. Painted the arms yellow and then did a gray and black stripe effect on them. the eyes and hands silver, and then the eyes black. I painted the treads black as well with a matte black. I did a light mist of silver paint on the gears and the treads, and then did a light mist of brown to act as rust on them. I painted the body with some industrial gloss yellow paint, and then touched that up with some silver where the silver details are. Some weathering with some black spray paint on all of the edges, and then hit that with some brown spray paint to act as rust. I went really heavy with the rust because Wally is extremely rusted. All in all, I think it turned out really good. The eyes turned out nice, and the rust and weathering is pretty good. If you want to see more of my prop builds, be sure to check out my other videos. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.